Exomologiste tokirio te agathos alleluia.
Otis ton neona to eleos aftu alleluia.
Go on, bro.
Yeah, I was just going to ask, well, I wanted to ask Bubba as well, but following on from your discussion with him about the grooming gang scandal in the UK.
Yeah.
The fact that literally up to 1 million girls, white, Sikh and others Hindus were targeted deliberately by mainly Muslim Pakistani Bangladeshi men.
Yeah.
And raped systematically, some killed even, tortured, whatever, over a long period of time, because they are kufr, they are infidels, so it's easy meat.
Yeah.
You didn't explain that.
Well, I mean, I actually don't think that the grooming gangs are a true representation of Islamic practice, but rather a distortion of it. And it comes from, I would say, the triangulation of three things. One, that Muslims feel themselves superior to the rest of us, and think that we're all trash. Two, and that's not all Muslims, obviously, but the ones that take their teaching seriously. Two, that Islam permits the taking of sexual slaves. And three, the fact that Islam permits, as we've seen, the marrying and sexual practice with children. And when those three things combine in a very distorted way, you can see how that creates the milieu in which grooming gangs can think that they are justified in their activity. The fact of the matter is, Bubba is a good man. He's just a bad Muslim.
Yeah, he's all right.
He's a good man, but he's a bad Muslim. And he's unable to justify Muhammad. And so he had to mischaracterize my position. And he also had to distort Sharia law, because he said in Sharia law that they could change the age of consent. But the point is, Sharia law is interpreted and defined by the actions of Muhammad and by what Muhammad permitted. And so because Muhammad permitted and actually married a child, it is not possible under Sharia law to make it illegal to marry a child. And so that's why Bubba couldn't defend his prophet. But maybe this brother can. I've got a question for you. It's not about child marriage or anything like that. It's about the reliability of hadiths. Because I have clear proof that the hadiths are made up and fictional. Okay? So in Sahih al-Bukhari 7, Abi Sufyan gives a report. And in that report, it states clearly in the hadith that they have access to the private correspondence of a Roman emperor. But when you look at the Isnad chain, in the people in the Isnad chain, the stem of the Isnad chain was a child. So the one that told the story was a child. How did anyone in the Isnad chain, it's Sahih al-Bukhari 7 if you want to know which one I'm talking about, how did any of them gain access to the private correspondence of the enemy of Islam, the Roman emperor, and also gain access to private meetings amongst the Roman elites? Any suggestions on how? That is fine, but I'd ask you to reason with me if I read out the relevant section. Yeah? So if we go to Sahih al-Bukhari 7, do you mind if I come here? Yeah? Yeah, thank you. So what's your name, bro? Sorry?
My name's Harun. But I know, I'll be honest, I'm not knowledgeable in this field.
Okay.
So, I mean, if the other guys come in here, like Muslim Lantern, and these guys come here, they probably give you a good debate.
I would love to. If they want to come in, they'll let them in for sure.
Okay.
But let's come to this. Let's come to this section in the hadith. Do you want to pull it up so you know that I'm not lying?
I'll take your reference, right?
Yeah. So it's Sahih al-Bukhari 7, number 7, and you can find it on sunnah.com. Sahih al-Bukhari 7. So we're looking at Sahih al-Bukhari 7. Right. So
make sure you like and share.
the bit that I want to read
Let me move.
is this bit. Yeah? So it's this bit. You ready? So Heraclius remarked that the sovereignty of the Arabs had arrived. Heraclius then wrote a letter to his friend in Rome, who was as good as Heraclius in knowledge. Heraclius then left for Homs, a town in Syria, and stayed there until there was a reply from his friend, who agreed with him in his opinion about the emergence of the prophet and the fact that he was a prophet. On that, Heraclius invited all the heads of the Byzantines to assemble in his palace at Homs. When they assembled, he ordered that all the doors of his palace be closed, and then he came out and said, O Byzantines, if success is your desire, and if you seek right guidance and want your empire to remain, then give your pledge of allegiance to this prophet. So here's my question. This hadith is claiming to have access to a private correspondence and a private meeting of the Roman elites. Who in the Isnad chain was in that meeting? Who had access to that letter? I've looked at all the names in the Isnads, right? And when you look at all the names in the Isnads and you look up their biographies, right, none of them could be. None of them. So in other words, what we have is a Sahih Bukhari hadith that is a forgery and a lie. Now, do you understand the implications of using Sahih al-Bukhari to interpret the Quran when Sahih al-Bukhari is full of forgeries and lies?
Well, to be honest, my knowledge is a bit limited in this, so when in regards to Isnad, there have to be a chain of narration that's going back to the Prophet ﷺ.
Yeah.
That's how much I can take it forward from that.
Right.
But I'm not very ilm in hadith, to be honest with you.
Yeah. Well, as someone who has studied it, but you can think logically, can't you?
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Right. So for someone to have had access to a private correspondence of a Roman emperor, yeah, then he must have had some kind of access to the internal court of Rome. But when you can do this yourself, bro, go and look up the Isnad to Sahih al-Bukhari 7. Go and look at the biographies of all of those people. I've already done this exercise. None of them would have had access to the internal workings of the Roman Empire.
Sure, I'll have a look into this.
Right, so you've got a lie in the hadiths. Now, just think hypothetically with me. If my thesis is correct, and this is a lie in Sahih al-Bukhari, what are the implications for the reliability of Sahih al-Bukhari?
Sure, I'll look into this.
All right, I'd like to give you a gift then, just as a goodwill gesture. Thank you for talking to me. So I'd like to just give you a gift.
Yeah, horizontally.
There we go. You look after yourself. Take care. All right, let's see if someone else can answer my question.